Yeah, it
Why
is.
haven't we seen aliens?
Exactly, because they believe there's this great filter that stops every civilization from, becoming so powerful that they become godlike. It's rigged. It's rigged. No, I was just saying DC's rigged. Again, that's obviously
Ketamine, the drug, it's actually horse tranquilizer.
all the stutters out. Welcome. Co-Pilots, episode number 7. Good evening, afternoon, or morning, or wherever you're watching this from.
Whenever.
Whenever.
Whenever. Wherever.
Well, I cannot be the yours smoker after all. Anyway, we're here talking with the co-pilots
Topias.
and Vishwa, and we're today discussing some interesting topics, some very deep topics that we're both wanting to get into, but haven't had quite the pleasure to get into until now, because this will be a special 1-hour episode, actually,
Exactly.
which will break into two 30-minute episodes, and it will be also making sense since it's going to be summer and we won't have much time to film episodes, so this will hopefully suffice for the next month.
But there will still be content coming out this summer, so you have nothing to worry about.
Don't you worry, we've got you covered. But yeah, so you might be actually seeing us from the screens at X, since we're there for a week.
Yeah, X is the sports facility at TU Delft, and we were very privileged to get the permission to have our own picture put up on the notice boards there for everyone to see.
For a whole week, so it's quite nice.
Yeah, exactly. Week 27, I'm looking forward to it already.
Yeah, and today we'll, I guess, start with an update of where we have been so far before getting into the topics of today.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to?
Yeah, so like in the last couple of weeks, I've had my last exams of the bachelor, hopefully. And on top of that, just finalizing work. I'm not going to be working throughout the summer, so like for the next 7 weeks, I'm going to be virtually useless for the company. So I had to just make sure that some things were going to be in order before my summer holiday could properly start. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But I think that my colleague here has even bigger news to tell.
Indeed. So we have had the symposium, which is like for our final year's thesis project, and since we talked about it in previous episodes and what I was doing, it's done now. I'm officially an aerospace engineer.
Yes,
it's
a
done.
Bachelor of Science, BS.
BSc.
Yeah, exactly.
Just BS.
In some countries, it's actually just BS.
Really?
I think in the US, for example, it's literally BS.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that's kind of fun.
Yeah, it is.
But it's crazy. Like, it was the last thing we had to do. It was basically 2 days ago. We had a ceremony where I had to do a presentation on behalf of my group, and at the end of the day, we had like the winner group, like, I guess, award ceremony, and also we got our diplomas there. So we got the photo with the dean and like the actual paper that says you're an aerospace engineer. And you were born on this date for some reason.
And it's very important. Yeah,
and it feels kind of like done now. I mean, it was kind of like quite sudden, actually, the end. Like the DSE is really like a rush through. To give you more context, DSE was the design synthesis exercise, and the project that I was doing a group thesis in was the electric aircraft. And well, I would have loved to come here and say that we won, but we didn't win. But we also, it's rigged. So
hot take. Without shades, shade on you.
Okay, fine.
So what are your retirement plans now, since you're pretty much done with all of the important, meaningful things in your life?
Yeah.
And that actually reminds me, the meaning of life, the topic of today's episode.
Nice,
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Life is rigged.
Life is rigged.
No, I was just saying DC is rigged, but that's the only reason I put on the shades for. But it needs a very nice transition to go into the meaning of life. So, yeah, we have I have a bunch of questions that I want to ask him. Yeah. And maybe you guys can think about it yourself.
For sure.
When you
think of interactive episode. Yeah. Click like, subscribe, everything.
Everything. Do it all. And this episode, I want to just kind of talk a bit about the universe, because we talked a bit about our favorite aircraft, a bit of the aviation industry before.
Yeah, our favorite rotorcrafts, our favorite helicopters.
Yeah. And then we said in one of these episodes that we want to focus maybe upcoming episode on space or something bigger. And then I thought, okay, what a nice way to put it also in the context of the universe. Yeah. And I want to start quite broad this time and really get into it, since we have the time today. Because a lot of the episodes we have gotten really close to like getting into it, and then it's been 30 minutes. We have to cut it off.
Exactly.
But now I think this is really the episode we go all in, go all out.
Sounds good.
So one of the first questions I got to ask you is, who are we as humans? What do you think we are? Like us sitting here in this place, wherever this is.
I think we as humans, we are the hegemons of planet Earth. Because we are still a part of nature, but also in a way sort of the overlords of nature. Because at least as far as I know, no other species can exert such great control over nature and other species.
Okay.
And by saying that, I don't mean to make it sound like it's a sort of anti-nature or like how would I put it, a divisive approach where I see like humans as superior rather than a part of nature itself. But I definitely think that humans are here to stay, and we do call the shots when it comes to planet Earth.
I see. Speaking about the hegemony, it represents some kind of hierarchical structure. Where do you think we are in the food chain then? Because if we are the overlords, then are we at the top of this food chain?
I think I'd argue so. Yeah, because as far as I'm aware, and just for context, I'm vegetarian myself. But
he is not vegetarian.
We are so cutting this up.
You are not a vegetarian. He's a convenient vegetarian.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
CV. Should put it up there. Yeah. Okay. So, as far as I'm aware, I don't think any other species feasts on humans like humans feast on other species.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think we are sort of at the top of the pecking order. Just like where aerospace engineering is at the top of the TU Delft hierarchy, I think human beings are at the top of the Earth hierarchy.
Interesting.
And that's not to say that I don't have tremendous respect for animals that have been here for hundreds of millions of years longer than us humans.
Yeah. I also had to think about this.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, like if the food chain is somewhere like, you have someone who always eats someone, and then like whoever's higher up. Traditionally, if we were like, cave people, or like just normal primates, then the top of the predator is like a tiger or a lion who's like the guy who just eats stuff, and then, the king of the jungle, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And
by the way, I have to get your jungle take on this. Lion or tiger? You only get to pick one.
Tiger for sure.
Yeah.
Tiger for sure. It's the biggest cat.
That's why we're friends.
Cat. I was in the zoo last week actually.
Oh, nice.
And I saw a Samur, not Samur, what's it called again?
Siberian tiger? Maybe?
Not Siberian. It's a smaller one in Indonesia.
Bengali? Sumatra tiger.
Sumatran tiger.
Yeah,
that's the word.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was a lot smaller than the lions, the Asiatic lions they had there, but tiger definitely.
Yeah.
It's way more athletic, way stronger, way faster, way better hunter.
Yeah, more beautiful as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Better camouflage as well.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. Tiger wins any day. But for the man cave thing example I was thinking of, I realize nowadays, since we can kind of control whoever we can kill, like we can just with a gun kill any animal.
Yeah.
And I think almost because we have such great weapons, we've kind of we have exited the food chain almost.
Whoa.
And we're just kind of like an overseer of the food chain.
Okay, I see.
So
That's
not so much at the top, because we can also the top is kind of there, but we've just separated ourselves from being in that loop almost.
Okay.
Where we just pick and choose whatever we want to eat, whatever we want to kill. I mean, we do intervention, like if you have too many elephants in location, we just kill some elephants or move them someplace else. Like we have this intervention.
Yeah.
It's very much like an overseer role, which is to me like not even in the food chain at this point.
Okay.
But yeah,
that's interesting. And what do you think humans are in the broader picture?
I guess the most believed scientific theory is evolution, right? So we evolved from primates, and that's the most believable story so far.
Oh, for sure. I think we both believe in evolution.
Yeah. But
scientifically very coherent.
Even though I believe in it for now, I don't want to say that we're still limited by it, because you still have so many things that we still don't know of, and science is a process that always evolves over time. People think this is done, and then a few years later, for more development, you realize, okay, no, it's actually like this.
Yeah.
Like how Newton thought time is constant, and then Einstein came along and said, like, no, time is not constant. These sort of things you keep developing upon. So that's why I mean to say evolution is the most, like, so far, most approved upon concept at this time.
Okay.
Because I want to get interesting about this. So
yeah. I also actually wanted to do a slight side tour here, but you can go first.
So I mean, yes, I believe we evolved from apes, primates, and I think we just got really smart, and we managed to control a lot of the way our planet works. Somehow. Yeah, and it's quite impressive. Actually.
Yeah, because apparently human beings, we only have like 1/4 of the upper body strength of a gorilla. Yeah. But then all of that.
Indeed, like that's the most promising theory so far that we'll believe upon. But you know, maybe because we don't know everything, that might change. So, but going on the evolution track, like I would go more into saying that instead of being on top, the theory that more like we've just sort of detached ourselves from it, and we're sort of just an overseer, because we can literally like control certain populations of species. Like if there's too many elephants in this area, let's move them, or like too many ants here, let's kill them. We do generally do that though.
Yeah, that is true.
We have a lot of intervention that necessarily doesn't harm us at all. Like we don't put ourselves at risk because we have these weapons like guns that like take care of it.
Philosophically speaking, do you think human intervention with nature is fundamentally good, bad, neutral, or depends?
I feel like there is some that is good, but there's some that is not so good. Like I'll give you an example.
What a deep analysis. Some is good and some that is.
I know, but it is a.
Nothing with you.
Yeah, like there are certainly some humans who are using it for their own good, and nothing else, and they're very selfish for it. But there are some humans who are literally they're only trying to help those in need.
Yeah.
Like that's why, you know, it's hard to generalize it as either good or bad, but it's both. Like it's in our nature to be both good and bad, I would say.
Yeah.
Because we, you know, for example, what good we can do is, you know, people sometimes look out for any animals injured in the wild or something, and you know, you can sometimes tranquilize them for a bit, and they can do an operation for them to help them, and then like let them go again.
That's ketamine, the drug, it's actually horse tranquilizer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Or at least it's meant to be used as such.
I wonder why and how you know that.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah.
But anyway, those are good things that we help the animals in need. But of course, you have things like obviously poaching, and there's also intervention that I heard the other day, by the way, that like a rhino, some people were just cutting off their horns so that they wouldn't get poached.
Yeah.
And I found that very weird because like you're losing the majestic, like the thing that makes a creature majestic, like a rhino. You move its horn and you're like, okay, at least now it won't die.
Yeah.
I get that, but is that really saving them? Because
exactly. And
by the way, those horns that they take them so that they don't die, those get still sold in legally somehow.
Exactly.
It's a bit of a weird one. So I don't know. That's not good. Like that's not the best. But going back to I really think we're this overseeing like creature at this point too. Are outside this food chain.
How about human intervention on other humans? How do you feel about that? So like, what I'm getting at here is like biotechnology, genetic modifications, using like very sort of modern and novel methods to improve human genomes and our performance, be it intellectually, memory-wise, motorically.
I think it's good. I think it's good because like I don't see another way forward apart from that. And I mostly speak from the perspective of if it's curing a disease or curing something that's wrong with a human, and they would really they want like something like, for example, hearing loss or memory loss or something wrong physically. If there's a technology that exists that could correct it or fix it, that would help them to increase their quality of life, then I think it's good for them. And like speaking from their perspective, I think that's good. But like, obviously there are some downsides to it and some negatives of involving ourselves with a lot of technology and becoming these cyborgs.
Yeah, exactly.
That I'm sure you're also a bit hesitant on.
Yeah, I'd say like like it would just be really weird if one day instead of having a human population, we would just have a cyborg population that originated from humans.
Yeah.
Like, I guess the Darwinist view would be that it's the next step of evolution of primate to human to cyborg, but I'm still ethically unclear how I feel about that. I'm not inherently like against like genetic human improvement or like biotechnology and stuff like that, but I think there does need to be like a discussion to be had, as well as just like some regulation policy and limits to sort of give guidelines as to how much you can do within the bounds of law.
Let me ask you something though.
Yeah.
Aren't we already a bit like cyborgs? Because in the sense that like we have these phones that we carry, this technology, and practically like, could you really go a day without looking at your phone? I mean, without it being forceful, as a daily part of your life.
Yeah.
You can't really, right? Like it's.
I mean, I'd say I can, but it's just.
But it's in your daily routine.
It definitely is. It definitely is. But I think that has more to do with my lifestyle rather than me or humanity in the modern day being more cyborg-like. Because, like, for example, when I go hiking in the summers, I can easily survive several days without looking at my phones, not even once. But, yeah, like, I get what you mean. It is sort of an infinite data bank and gives you sort of cyborg-like information almost instantly. But the thing is, like, it's still not an integrated part of me. And that's, like, a big difference that I think that, like...
Sure.
But will take some time.
Maybe in the future this will become an integrated part of humans.
Yeah.
That's sort of the thing that is separating. But like, like some things like I think maybe, well, where would you put lenses or like something that
harmless? Absolutely in favor of like the surgery. Yeah,
fair. And this one is like you're slowly getting closer and closer to putting something in our body basically and like sort of improving our performance, right? Because it's about improving some kind of ability. Certainly there's some good things to it, but I guess they should be mandated properly in terms of that. But to go again to a bit of an overview, if that's as humans on this scale, do you know of the Chebyshev's scale?
Yes, I'm familiar with the Chebyshev scale. So, for the viewer, Chebyshev scale is essentially a way of ranking a civilization in terms of how much of the energy available to it is able to harness with the technological means that are available to it at the time. So it's like a scale from 1 to 5, with 5 being able to harness literally all of the energy in the universe, and I think level 1 being able to harness all of the energy on the planet. Yeah,
like a type 1 civilization.
Yeah.
So we're type 0.72, I think. Okay. Civilization.
Really? It's really specific.
Very specific, It has to do essentially with how much energy you can harvest out of a given like planet or solar system or whatever.
Yeah.
Right now we can do that 0.72 of that.
I doubt it's like 72% of all of the Earth's available energy though.
Yeah, I think it was more also like how much...
It's gotta be some logarithm in that scale. Yeah. I don't know the specifics, but like it's not 72% yet.
Yeah, but it's more so, I don't know if it's exactly like hard, it's like being in control of that planet basically. Okay. Like I think it's also to do with controlling the weather, controlling the... I don't know, all these other things that we don't yet have control on. Yeah, exactly. That's when you have full control of your planet. Like you can predict everything. Yeah. Like this is you. Like you know it. Yeah. That's when it's type 1, I think.
Do you think we're gonna be able to, first of all, get to type 1 and then go beyond that? And if so, in what time scale is that gonna happen?
It's interesting you say because it's a theory that relates to this type 1, type 2 It was called the Great Filter. Yeah. The Great Filter is basically like a filter that is like a concept in science, which basically says like a civilization cannot advance any further, and it will eradicate itself when it reaches a certain point. Yeah. So that it isn't allowed to go any further, basically. And this is sort of, it's a theoretical thing, of course, but it's sort of like a universal concept or like a construct more like.
Yeah.
And it supports the theory of why aliens haven't visited us yet. Because if they are, why aren't there type 5 aliens? If they have energy of the whole universe, they can control everything.
They can bring us to them.
They can bring us to them. They can come to us.
Yeah.
Why hasn't that happened yet?
Yeah.
And this is one of the theories that support it, saying, well, there's always a great filter that stops any living civilization from ever like.
It's related to the Fermi paradox, right? Like
sort of, yeah, it
why
is.
haven't we seen aliens?
Exactly.
Like why haven't they seen us?
Yeah, because they believe there's this great filter that stops every civilization from, becoming so powerful that they become godlike. But then that's sort of the thing people believe we might not even get to type 1 civilization because of maybe climate change and global warming.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Do you think that's possible?
I think the thing is we are definitely gonna face quite some adversity, like on the scale of humanity because of global warming. But I'd say in the very long run, like now I'm talking about centuries, I think most likely we're gonna be able to sort of go back in time in the sense that we will be able to remove carbon and methane and other greenhouse gases from the atmosphere and thereby influence our own climate. That being said, I don't think we're necessarily going to be able to control the entirety of the climate system because it's just humongously complex.
Yeah.
But I think like we can definitely influence elements over it that are going to be really critical regarding, say, the temperature variations that have been maybe caused by climate change.
Cool.
Or hot, who knows?
True.
Yeah. No, like I'm relatively optimistic in the very long run, but I'd say like in the medium run, like the next couple of decades, especially in like the global south, I think like there's some tough times ahead of us.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do think we can get past this potential great filter, like get to type 1 level.
Yeah.
But it's definitely gonna be like not easy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like. Yeah, it's really going to be something, it kind of depends on how smart we are. Pretty much.
And also I think like how much of the computing related to this we're going to be able to outsource to computers and AI and maybe quantum intelligence at some point if such a thing arrives.
Exactly.
Yeah, because like I think human intelligence, it's limited. Human ingenuity, I think it's limitless. Great party, by the way. But I think like we're just gonna have to sort of delegate all of the actual heavy computation.
Yeah, for sure.
Of which there is a shit ton to be.
For sure.
Critical about it.
That's for sure.
Yeah, like, but yeah, I think we're both rather optimistic about these things.
But yeah, then speaking after, like, it's interesting to see how we are as a species on Earth, but. Yeah, I want to get interesting about why we haven't seen aliens yet, for example.
Yeah.
Why do you think generally why we haven't come across aliens? And it's, I don't want you to say sketchy videos on YouTube that where UFOs are in 144p.
Yeah. It's like all of my recommended feed.
Yeah. Why haven't aliens, just come here and been like, yo, I'm here?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like rather scientific answers to that. So like, first of all, what your average human would classify as an alien most likely isn't going to be a great representation of what a potential alien would be like.
Yeah.
Then also there's a time scale, so the universe is like what, 13.8 billion years ago?
Yep.
Ago. Old. Goddamn. Yeah. Allegedly. So I think like what humanity has been ongoing for like the past 200,000 years, and then we had like Homo erectus and all those like predecessors of Homo sapiens before that for a couple of million years.
Yeah.
So I think it's certainly possible that there may have been some aliens visiting our solar system, I don't know, 100 million years ago, or who knows, like maybe 2 billion years ago.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many variables that like I think would be difficult to quantify and eliminate.
Fair.
That's like I wouldn't sign the statement aliens haven't visited us.
Okay. You're just saying we haven't been here long enough to for us to actually observe if someone has been here.
Or our thinking regarding aliens hasn't been creative enough for us to actually realize that whatever has been visiting us could be classified as one.
Mm.
Because like I don't think alien is like a very tight definition.
No,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
It's really weird because I think we know so little about like the universe, because every like year basically we realize, okay, like this was wrong, this is the new stuff, okay, this was wrong. We keep like realizing more stuff and realize there's more questions.
Iterating.
Yeah, there's more questions to be asked than to be answered.
Oh yeah,
basically.
for sure.
And there's so many things that we don't even know that we don't know.
Yeah.
Right? And like I feel like, you know, alien might not even be a three-dimensional thing. It might be another dimension.
Oh yeah.
You know, like
for sure.
There's endless possibilities to what they could be like.
Yeah.
And like why we can't perceive them maybe even. And there's some videos I watched about it, of course, like, you know, if you're a two-dimensional creature on this surface, they don't know we are here.
Yeah, exactly.
Us in three dimensions.
Yeah.
And that's insane.
Yeah.
Like that's nuts. Like it will go its whole life thinking this is its world.
Yeah.
Having no idea there's another dimension here. Like that's crazy. And yeah, like I was actually, you know, talking about the universe and things that are like we keep iterating or like keep correcting. I saw this thing the other day, that the James Webb Space Telescope, which is right now at a Lagrange point somewhere close to the sun, I think.
Yeah.
It's been taking really good photos.
Yeah.
It was definitely worth the wait. Like it's been working good.
Yeah.
And it found some interesting discoveries.
Okay, such as?
So one of them was it found galaxies that are that were created 10 times bigger than the Milky Way, only 500 million years after the Big Bang.
Really?
Yeah. And this is interesting and odd because it was believed that usually galaxies of this big, actually any galaxy, was only formed 1 or 2 billion years after the Big Bang.
Yeah.
Like the first couple of years was like still the forming process and all the other processes, the dark age, I think it's called. And there was no way of having a universe already set in stone.
Yeah.
It's this early on, and we found 6 galaxies that are 10 times bigger than like the Milky Way.
Yeah.
Existing that long ago. And this kind of changed a lot of people's ideas on even if how the Big Bang was done and if it really was
done. You're making it sound like somebody was like, guys, we're doing the Big Bang. So Robert, what you do is that, Fish, you're gonna be doing the bang sound.
You're gonna do the big one, you're gonna do the small one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, but like I agree, it is pretty insane.
Yeah. No, it's on me.
Yeah, it was on you, but that's not what I meant.
Oh. Well, as you can see, we were having this really interesting conversation, but it's time for the first episode to end. But don't worry, because part 2 will be coming soon.
And how soon, you may ask? Well, immediately after the outro.
Exactly. This brings us to the outro, but before that, please subscribe, like, and comment, and share.
Help us out with the algorithm.
Yeah, help us out with the algorithm. Share any comments, what you want to see next. Let us
tell
know
your friends, tell your parents, tell your grandparents.
Tell your everyone. And this has been
the Co-Pilots signing out.
That was good.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, because I finally realized after 7 episodes that you usually say signing out.
I don't know if I actually did that before.
Yeah, you did.
For sure.
Yeah, like, but yeah, I think we're both rather optimistic about these things.